one of my favorite graphic designers and someone who's been a big influence on me is a guy named Milton Glaser, and he has a book called Art is Work, and that's sort of his philosophy. Art is work. It's not just something we do for fun. It's not something you do as a hobby. To me, it's work. I treat it that way. It's not about making money all the time, but it is about, it's something I have to do, and I enjoy the act of solving a problem for someone else. So when I am commissioned, to make a print or a poster for a band or an event or whatever, I like that challenge. It's not just for me. I'm making it for a specific purpose and for someone else. I was a little kid. I thought I was an artist. I wanted to be an artist. That's the only thing that I ever felt confident about. I wasn't an athlete, not a very good musician, not the strongest academic student. So just art was, I never really questioned it. So I make a lot of posters for touring bands. And for me, the coolest thing, the most special thing is when a fan of that band tells me, wow, this is great. I love this. This is perfect for the band. Mm-hmm. That's all I need, really. Knowing that it connected with someone. So I think there's a lot of big moments making that connection. It's kind of deceiving, maybe, for some people that don't know what it's like to try to create something like that. I think there might be a few people that look at my work and they think, oh, there's nothing to it. You could draw that in 5 minutes. And it may be that you could execute the shape or the image in a short amount of time. It's the concept, it's the idea that takes a long time. I think that letterpress, being a letterpress printer has sort of forced me to become a more simple designer. I usually start out with a drawing that's pretty complex, but then I have to simplify it in order to get it to a point where I can print it and where I can cut the plate and actually print it. I like big solid colors and shapes and really bold, kind of just straight to the point imagery. One thing I try to talk to students about as a graphic designer is I don't think we should try to trick anyone or hide anything. And maybe that sounds weird when there's a lot of maybe hidden imagery or trickery in my prints. There's really not. All you have to do is look at it and it's there. I don't try to hide anything. But maybe I do like the idea that you might have to take a second or third look before you actually get the full picture. So yeah, I think I'm a subtractive designer in the idea, in the aspect of, I start out with something complex and I just keep trying to take away things, subtract things and take away until I get it down to the bare bones. It needs this to convey the idea, and if I take away anything else it won't convey the idea, but if I add anything else that would just be unnecessary. I'm not a big fan of ornament, just adding something for the sake of making it prettier or ornamentation. I like to just get the point across. Artist you struggle with, I want to do something different. I don't want to do the exact same thing for the rest of my life. And there's a lot of pressure when people expect you to, okay, he's got to make another poster with like a double image that looks like you see one thing and then you see something else, and it's tough. It's hard to do that time after time after time, and sometimes I just need to have that feeling of, it's kind of freeing to do something that doesn't rely on that. And then I'm always trying to think about if it's a concert poster, if it's for a band, I'm trying to think about the band and what represents them. And there are some bands that their music lends itself to that a little bit more, either ornate or not so conceptual to the point where it's a bird that looks like flames.
Mm-hmm.
Some bands don't conjure up that sort of imagery. Some of the music is pretty abstract. So, I ultimately want to always make a poster that represents that band or that event or whatever it is. So, from time to time, I've been trying some new things. Well, I think the patent pending piece was interesting. I struggled with that because I wanted to do something either with the book or from the book. I looked at that object, that book, for a long time, and one day I was flipping through it and I saw these plans for this apple processing machine, and I literally took that image and flipped it vertically, mirrored it, and it made a skull. And I didn't do a lot. It was about seeing something that was there. And, I like that as well. I like seeing something that maybe other people might have trouble seeing. And just, it was there, you just have to be open to it and see it. I know that a lot of people are, they don't have any problem talking poorly about Lubbock. I try my best not to blame Lubbock for my failures, and maybe not give Lubbock all the credit for my successes. I've always been a firm kind of believer that you can do good work no matter where you live. So for me, there are times when I wish Lubbock had some, I don't know, whatever. You can say, oh, I wish there were more good concerts here. I wish there were more cultural events. But I think they're here if you want to experience those. And I think the art community in Lubbock is very strong, and I have no complaints about that. I've got this studio. I love San Francisco. I love it. But I don't think I could have this studio if I lived in San Francisco. This space wouldn't be an option for me. I would have to change the way I do things, and I could do that. I could adapt. I think you should be able to adapt to your environment no matter what. But I like it here. I think it's a great place to get stuff done. Just, you don't have an excuse for not doing something here. Get it done. Again, the idea that art is work. This studio's in my backyard, and I can walk right out and make something any time of the day or night that I want. I've never thought of myself as an art collector. I have a lot of prints, a lot, a whole lot, thousands probably, but most of them are things that were given to me by other artists and printers that I really respect. I don't have a specific, I need to collect this person's artwork. It's more, they gave it to me and we traded, and it's special because of that. It's special because I know the person that made it, and I have that personal connection with them, and I surround myself with their work. I don't have any of my own work hanging in my studio, maybe one over there, and I don't really have any of my own work hanging in my house. I don't care to look at my work. I'm really more inspired by seeing what someone else is doing, and maybe the way they approach problem solving, or wow, I love the colors that print. I would never use those colors, so I love seeing things like that. And I don't know that there's any sort of rhyme or reason to the things that I have hanging on my wall, other than someone gave it to me and it means something to me because of that. And my kids do think that I'm famous. They think that people know about me, all over the world. And I try to tell them, I can't walk into the grocery store and use that to my advantage, so no matter how famous you become as a graphic designer, you're really only going to be famous to another handful of nerdy graphic designers or maybe poster collectors or something like that. Mm-hmm. I kind of like that. I like that no matter how, it keeps you a little bit grounded, I guess, just keep working. You better keep working, or nobody cares what that last poster you made was.
Yeah,
if you don't make another one. I think that's actually one of the coolest things that's happened to me and this is really silly. I was sitting in J&B and I was talking to someone, and I guess they said my name a couple of times, and the person I was meeting with left, and I was still there, finishing my coffee, and this kid, probably 18 years old, he walks over to me and he said, "Excuse me, are you Dirk Fowler? I heard your name. Are you Dirk Fowler?" I said, "Yeah, I'm Dirk Fowler." He said, "Man, I have some of your posters, and they're just amazing. I just love your work." And it was like an old venue, like Space 1110 or something like that, and it had these punk rock shows there all the time. And this kid he said, I stole it from, and then he caught himself, He's like, I took it from the window of Ralph's Records or something, and said a couple of things. And he said, "I've got like 4 of your posters, and I just love them so much." And I said, "Man, that's awesome. Like for me, that's the best thing that's the best thing, because this kid might not feel comfortable in an art gallery. Galleries are pretty intimidating. And if you don't feel educated, like you're intimidated by walking into a gallery. You don't know what you're supposed to like and what you're not supposed to like. And if you don't like something, you feel bad about it, and you feel like everybody wants you to justify and explain why you like something or back it up if you say you don't like something. And so I can see this kid probably would not feel comfortable walking into a gallery. But yet my work connected with him. And he had my work and he had it on his wall, and that's awesome. If you can make an art connection with someone that maybe wouldn't get it otherwise, that's what it's all about. That's the best thing there is.